Hello everyone, I am a Quagsire fan, and I leveled a team of 6 Quagsire to level 69 to fight the Elite Four in SoulSilver. I unexpectedly had to fight my rival before this, but as you can see, everyone is level 69, which means that they are all ready to fight the Elite Four and the champion. First, the Elite Four member is Will, but before I start battle with him, I'm gonna switch a Quagsire with Yon into the first slot of the party. And now that I'm ready, let's begin. I know I should have leveled everyone up to like level 75 or higher since the Elite Four has higher level Pokemon the second time you fight them, but I wanted a team of 69 just because funny number and I'm still immature. So far this fight is going off to a great start for me, considering that Earthquake just knocked it out in one hit. And then Jinx, I am very prepared for Jinx because I have one Quagsire with the move Rock Slide. And the only reason I have Rock Slide on one of the Quagsires is just because of Lance. I wanted to teach one of them Ice Punch too, but I do not have the patience for this game's battle point system. But anyway, look at that. Another one-hit knockout. I'm not really worried about Grumpig, but since Princess isn't needed anymore, I'm gonna switch her out to Quagmire and give him a chance to fight. I'm gonna have Quagmire do a Waterfall, but oh no, I get confused. I'm hoping that Quagmire is going to use at least one move during his time of confusion, because normally how this goes for me is that when my Pokemon are confused, they will only hurt themselves in confusion, never use a move. But luckily for me, he used a move. That's my boy. I should switch out Quagmire to another Pokemon, but I don't want Grumpig to go twice in a row as a result of me doing that. So I'm just gonna rest and hope that despite his confusion, he uses it. And he does! There we go, now we can Sleep Talk, and if he uses either Earthquake or Waterfall, then we get to knock out Grumpig. Luckily, Quagmire snapped out of his confusion, used Sleep Talk, and then used Waterfall. So now Grumpig is knocked out, and we only have half the team left to go through. Next up is Slowbro, and I expect this Pokemon to use special moves, so I'm gonna switch in a Quagsire with Amnesia, raise its special defense, that way I can tank a little more hits from special moves. Alright, now let's use Amnesia, raise our special defense, and now we are ready to take on any special moves that are thrown our way. I considered using Yawn, but I didn't think that I'd need it, so I just chose to do damage to it. But as you can see, that did not do much damage. And I can clearly see now where exactly this fight is headed. He's just gonna have Slowbro do Curse over and over again, constantly raising its defense until I can do literally no damage to it whatsoever. This is going to take quite a while, considering that I don't have any special moves that would be good against Slowbro. I only have one special move across all my Quagsires, and that's Muddy Water. When fighting Slowbro specifically, I regretted not keeping Sludge Bomb on Quagmire, because it would have really been great for a time like this. But because I decided to get rid of it, I'm using an Earthquake just for Will to use a full restore. And since I know that he's going to do that, I'm just going to use Yawn again, that way Slowbro can't just continuously keep using Curse over and over again. And now I'm going to switch to a Quagsire that is holding Soft Sand. Since ground-type moves have the highest power for me, I might as well try to make them do as much damage as possible with the disadvantages that I have. Unsurprisingly, Slowbro used Curse again, so that's not good. But there's nothing I can do about it except keep damaging it. And luckily for me, that move landed a crit hit, which saved a whole lot of time. Thank you, Bub, for landing a critical hit and saving us 3 minutes. Now that we're finally done with Slowbro, we can move on with the rest of the battle. And that fight took so long that I thought that Gardevoir was the last Pokemon Will had. And this time I'm very certain that Amnesia will come in handy. And now that my special defense is raised, I'm just going to focus on dealing damage to the Gardevoir. I knocked her out into Earthquake, so that was a much easier fight compared to Slowbro. And now for his final Pokemon, a Xatu, which is perfect for a princess. I was very certain that this fight was going to go perfectly in my favor, but he pooped on my party as soon as he used Confused Ray. And then Princess hurt herself in confusion. And that was just straight up disrespect. Thankfully, Princess didn't faint from confusion, so now I can use a Hyper Potion and hope that she will snap herself out of confusion pretty soon. I did not expect this fight to go so badly. This was definitely a humbling experience for me. I was so certain that his last Pokemon was going to be really easy. If he didn't use Confuse Ray, I think I would have won in like 2 to 3 turns. But no, I hurt myself in confusion, was able to use Rock Slide while in confusion, Rock Slide missed, and then I hurt myself in confusion again, and now I'm on my second Hyper Potion when this bird should have been gone by the 3rd turn. This fight was quite humbling. I was so confident after doing 2 one-hit knockouts at the beginning of the fight, and then it all went downhill for me. But it's okay because at long last, we defeated Elite Four Will without any Quagsires fainting. I restored my Quagsire's health, so now it's time to fight Elite Four Koga. This dude has poison-type Pokemon, so I'm not worried about him at all. I went into this fight with full confidence. With Earthquake, there was no way I could possibly struggle. Skuntank used Dig? Not a problem, it's getting knocked out in one hit anyway. We knocked Skuntank underground, so it's like we buried it and it's all ready for its funeral. Toxicroak I had a little worries about just because I was confused, but I wasn't too worried about it. I was a little more worried when Cross Chop landed a critical hit, but then Adult Gronk snapped out of his confusion and used Earthquake, and then of course, we knocked out Toxicroak in one hit. And my boy leveled up, so yippee! Next up is Crobat, so obviously I'm sitting in Princess again. And as long as Crobat doesn't have Confused Ray, I think we'll be fine. A couple Rock Slides were wasted, but it's no biggie. I'll just use Alopa Berry after this. And thankfully for me, Fly missed, and then Crobat gets knocked out in 2 Rock Slides. And Princess grew to level 70 as well, so that's great. Last Pokemon is Muck, and I'm not worried about him at all, so we're keeping Princess in, and she's just gonna knock him out with Earthquake. And it's a one-hit knockout. Love to see it. Good job, Princess. And very easily, we defeat Elite Four Koga. Next up is Bruno, and we're pretty close to fighting the champion. First Pokemon is Hitmontop, and I think I'm just gonna yawn. Put him to sleep. I'm very certain that he's going to use Counter again, so I'm just going to use this turn to use Amnesia and prevent myself from being damaged from Counter. And now I can deal damage to Hitmontop without worry. Got him out into Waterfall, so that's going pretty well so far. And I think I'm gonna keep Bubby in. We're gonna yawn again, and oh no. Well, no surprise there. And of course my Pokemon hurts itself in confusion because that's just my luck. I hate confusion so much. Like, whenever it happens to me, my Pokemon rarely ever use a move when they're confused. But if my opponent's Pokemon are confused, they always end up landing a hit for some reason. It's like the game is purposely trying to make me lose. That was an unfortunate waste of a Hyper Potion. Alright, my trusty princess, let's see if you can help me out here. And we are good now. Bruno's Pokemon are doing quite a lot of damage, so I think Quagsire would be a good fit for this fight now, since he can just rest and then sleep talk. This fight wasn't too bad. Regenerated health, but it's no big deal. We knock it out with Waterfall. Hitmonchan is down, and Quagsire grows to level 70. Great! Only 3 more Pokemon left, and I think I'm gonna keep Quagsire in. Oh no. I'm so tired of my Pokemon getting confused and always hurting themselves in confusion. Alright, we're sending in Adult Gronk next. He's the highest level out of all of them right now. And we're gonna have him use Waterfall. I'm so tired of my Pokemon being confused. Thank you for using Waterfall, Adult Gronk. Now if you could please use it again next turn, that would be greatly appreciated. Damn. Well, it's time for a Hyper Potion. Good thing I got over 20 of these. One of the most annoying things the opponent can do is spam the same move over and over again, especially when that move causes confusion. I hate it. I can't stand it. Can't this dude use any other move? Please, thank you. Thank you, finally. Since he's no longer using Dynamic Punch, I'm going to assume that he finally ran out of PP for that move, which means I can finally knock out his Machamp. And Lucario is going to be an easy one since Earthquake will be super effective against him. one-hit knockout on Lucario, and last but not least, we have Hariyama. I have a feeling that Hariyama is going to be difficult, so I'm just going to yawn, put it to sleep, and then use Rain Dance, which will increase Waterfall's power, and then use Waterfall, and I should be able to knock it out in 2 Waterfalls. Never mind, it'll take 2 Waterfalls and an Earthquake. I'm not using a Waterfall here because I think if I used a Waterfall, Hariyama's health bar would drop into the red zone, which would mean that Bruno would use a full restore, which would get rid of its sleep status. But since Earthquake didn't do enough damage to drop Hariyama's health too low, I don't have to worry about Bruno using a full restore. So after 1 more Waterfall, I was able to defeat Hariyama and therefore defeat Bruno. Last but not least of the 4, we have Karen. If I'd known that she was going to send out Weavile first, I would have switched to Princess beforehand, but I think we'll be okay. I used Amnesia for absolutely nothing, thinking that Weavile would use special moves for some reason. But we'll be fine. Even if Bubby gets knocked out after this, I can just switch to Princess and everything will be okay. And here comes the Ice Punch, the final blow. Wait, Bubby lives! Bubby lives! Long live Bubby! And Bubby defeats Weavile, and he levels up! It's wonderful! Now it's time to lock in again, and I'm just gonna send out Nilou, just because she hasn't had much screen time. Oh man, I'd like to bet she's like 2 HP away from fainting. Or rather, she was. Poor Nilou, she's not making it. Oh, why did Spiritomb have to use Sucker Punch? Couldn't she have just let her win? Well, we beat Spiritomb, and with Houndoom being sent in next, we're gonna have an easy win in this fight. Easy one-hit knockout, and then Honchkrow, we send in Princess, of course. And that does much more damage than I expected it to. And now we will use a Hyper Potion because I'd like to keep Princess alive. That still did a lot of damage, but as long as it doesn't land another critical hit. Okay, yeah, we're good. We win. We win against the Honchkrow, I mean. Next up is Umbreon, so I think I'm gonna switch to Quagmire, just because I feel like Rest and Sleep Talk are gonna come in handy. Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this fight too. It's giving Slowbro all over again. Oh dear, that move did quite a lot of damage. This is worse than the Slowbro. Thankfully, I have one Quagsire with muddy water, so... Bub, you're up now. And this fight is not looking good anymore now that Umbreon isn't using Curse anymore. I needed that the most. I so badly needed that muddy water to hit. Why, Bub? Why? Alright, I'm just gonna use this turn to revive Bub, because I really do need Bub back. Alright, we're gonna rest, and then I'm gonna go into a sleep talk. And that is really bad luck again. 3 moves to choose from and it chooses rest. Are you kidding me? Alright, we're gonna keep Adult Gronk in there, and I'm gonna use this turn to heal Bub just in case Umbreon happens to wake up very soon. And now we switch out Adult Gronk for Bub, and now we use Muddy Water. And thankfully for us it hits this time. Good job, Bub. And I'm just gonna keep Bub in the fight. I see no reason to switch it out. And I feel like Absol might use a special move, so I'm just gonna use Amnesia just in case. Okay, well that served me no purpose. So now I'm just going to focus on attacking. And no matter what, I win this fight against Absol anyway. Alright, Bub, you have redeemed yourself, landing a one-hit knockout thanks to a crit hit, and growing to level 70. That's my girl. Elite Four Karen has been defeated, so you guys know what that means now. It's time. It's time to fight the champion. Alright, first up is Salamence, and I'm just gonna use Yawn. I don't want to have Salamence go twice in a row, so we're just gonna use Waterfall, even though it's an ineffective move. I just don't want to swap out and then have him go twice in a row. Alright, well the first yawn didn't work, so let's try it again. Bubby could not, in fact, try it again. Thank you for your service, Bubby. Adult Gronk knows yawn, so he's being sent in to put Salamence to sleep. And now I think I'll just do an ineffective Waterfall again. And now that he's asleep, it's time to send in Princess. And of course, we will have Princess use Rock Slide. And that did quite a lot of damage, so only one more Rock Slide to go, and I'm gonna say 3 more Rock Slides to go. Never mind, 2 Rock Slides and a Waterfall. I do not want to have to deal with Lance using a full restore on this Salamence, because that means Salamence will be awake and I do not want that. Alright, Salamence is knocked out. Next is Dragonite, and I think I'm going to send in Nilu. Let's give her some screen time again. Maybe she can redeem herself. With Nilou, I'm gonna focus on decreasing Dragon Knight's defense, that way when I use Return, it'll do some more damage than it normally would've. And that's if she doesn't faint to a Draco Meteor first. Okay, that didn't do that much damage, so I'm not worried anymore. Unless he uses a physical move, I think I'll be okay since his special attack is going to be really low now. Even though Dragon Knight probably can't do that much damage to me anymore, I'm still going to heal just in case. You never know what's going to happen. And now I'm finally going to attack. According to the friendship lady, Nilou completely trusts me. Nilou loves me, so let's see how much Return does. Not that much, that's kinda sad. But it's okay, I think in 3 returns, 2 more returns, we should be able to defeat Dragonite. And then since this guy can't do much damage to me right now, I'm gonna use this opportunity to heal Adult Gronk. And then maybe I could heal Bubby too, but I don't think I really need to right now. I'm just gonna Tail Whip, lower its defense some more, and then hope that Return, I can defeat it in 3 returns. Oh, I can do it in 2 then. A critical hit for a critical hit. Thank you for your service, Nilou. Let's send in Adult Gronk. I'm pretty sure 1 waterfall should be enough. And it is, so that's good. And he leveled up again, so that's great. Next is Garchomp, and I'm just gonna keep Adult Gronk in, and I will yawn, putting it to sleep. I just want to take as little damage as possible, that way I can have a better chance of winning. I gotta survive to win, I can't be taking big hits like that one, oh my. I'm gonna hope that he stays asleep for a very long time. Bub, I'm counting on you. Please don't fail me, Bub. I'm gonna use an Earthquake since that's the best move that I can use here. After that critical hit on Outrage, I just want this Garchomp done and over with. Okay, Garchomp is still asleep, so that's good. We're gonna Earthquake again, and it should be done in 2 more Earthquakes after this. Ooh, a critical hit! Let's go, bub! Okay, Altaria, that's obviously a job for Princess, so we're gonna send her in once again. I was debating between Rock Slide and Yawn, but I decided to go with Yawn since my goal here is to just take as little damage as possible and survive until the very end. But I think that might have been a mistake since Altaria just used Double Team twice, which means Rock Slide's accuracy is even worse. I was going to do a Waterfall and then a Rock Slide to avoid Lance using a full restore on Altaria, but that doesn't matter now because he sent in Charizard. Either way, I'm not complaining. It's a super effective move that I chose. It's gonna be an easy win. Against Charizard specifically. Charizard gets knocked out in 2 waterfalls, which is very good. Now only 2 more Pokemon, I think? Yeah, but we're good. Waterfall again, and then into a Rock Slide, and I hope that Rock Slide hits. Oh no. Time for a Hyper Potion. And I'm hoping that it hits next turn at least. Okay, well, since it used Perish Song, either way, Altaria's going down no matter what. I forget how Parish Song works. I don't know if it's still going to keep going if I were to keep Princess in. I didn't want to take any chances though since the parish count was still ongoing, so I just switched to another one of my Quagsires for the time being. And now it's time for Lance's last Pokemon. Yeah, I also didn't expect this to ever happen either, buddy. Since Gyarados is faster, I didn't want to take a turn and switch to another Pokemon and have him go twice in a row. So in my opinion, it's just better to use an ineffective move until I just faint. Since Gyarados used Waterfall, I was gonna check to see if Princess has Water Absorb as her ability, but unfortunately she does not. So I'm just gonna use this turn to heal her, that way she can hopefully withstand any attack that Gyarados might use when I send her out. Poor Quagmire. Thank you for your service, buddy. Okay, Princess, let's go. Let's use Rock Slide and hope it does quite a lot of damage. And it does. Wonderful. I think one more Rock Slide and it should be okay. Yes, we won! We beat Lance! And Princess leveled up! This is wonderful! This challenge was very stressful, yet very fun and rewarding to have done this with my favorite Pokemon. I love Quagsire. The struggling was totally worth it just to see a team of 6 Quagsire in my Hall of Fame. And now they get their own little cutscene. All 6 of them. Poor Nilu, she's the only one that didn't level up at all. It's okay, she did her part, and I'm proud of her for it. I'm proud of all of my Quagsire. This was wonderful. I'm not done yet though, there's still one more thing that I'd like to do, in addition to admiring my Hall of Fame of course. Look at them all. All my Quagsires deserving of the spotlight. My champions. And here marks the last moment in our journey together. For now at least. Maybe in the future I'll come back, but anyway. My dear princess, you are no longer a princess anymore. You, my dear, are a queen. A perfect end to a wonderful journey together. Thank you guys for watching.